Alright, hello, this is Ryan from TheEndStep.com, and this is my Esper Ghost Dad deck. As far as an Esper shell, it's pretty standard fare with a lot of things. We have 3 Drown Yards, is a pretty solid win condition, 8 Shocks, every dual in our colors, pretty much perfect mana, fantastic to have. Um, Augur is pretty much the one of the standards in any blue deck right now. Fishes through, helps you find your revelation, your verdict that you need on time. Pretty much main game plan is kind of stall, drown yard, take over with removal, keeping their creatures and their permanents off the field. So you want to hit your augurs, use your lingering souls, just slow the game down. Verdict's the big backbreaker. Any aggressive deck never wants to see it. Even kind of mid-rangey decks, I maybe run a couple counter spells, can't deal with it. Which is one of the best parts of it. One of my favorite cards since the new sets came out. As far as actual win conditions aside from Drown Yard, because it sees a lot of hate, Pithing Needle, Ghost Quarter, I had 2 Obsidots. This is my favorite card in a long time. It's just super powerful. 5/5, 4 life swing every turn. You gain 2, they lose 2. Just can outright take over a game just by sitting there blinking back and forth. As far as Planeswalkers, we have 1 Tameo, 1 Sorin. Each offer a lot of versatility. Tameo can keep, like the Wolf Run decks, if they're playing like their Thragtusk or just one guy that they really want to power through, helps log it down, and it can help make them commit more to the board, try to kill her, and you can catch extra guys with a Wrath. Sorin's in a weird spot because the lifelink token's irrelevant, and he generally draws a lot of hate the second he lands. So he's good for those 2 things alone, and if you get the ultimate off, or even just get maybe an emblem or 2, make Obsidian a little stronger. He almost always earns his place in resolving whatever your opponent wastes on him. Another one of my favorite cards in the set is Blind Obedience. I was waiting for a non-creature to have Extort on a stick pretty much, and this is it. Every spell late game becomes another point of damage to them, point of life for you, keeps you going longer. Definitely helps, and certain creatures run into decks with Falconwrath Aristocrat, Hellrider, Ash Zealot, anything paired with a Lightning Mauler, Flinthoof Boar, those kind of things. Their haste is shut down, so it buys you an extra turn. It means they can't just surprise you for the kill and catch them with a Wrath too if they leave that in the field. You got your Azorius Charm and Sphinx's Revelation for Sphinx is your go big, reset the game, gain some life cards, maybe get an instant concession out of your opponent if it's that backbreaking. Azorius Charm, another slowdown card, keeps them, keeps creature there, can ruin their draws. Can even, in a pinch, give you guys lifelink. Very rarely comes up in this deck. Removal, you got 2 Victim Knight and an Ultimate Price. This has actually been swapped around a lot. Victim of Night is a little harder to cast, but it hits more targets. It was a big change, especially when like Boros Reckoner came out. A lot more multicolored stuff started seeing play. Ultimate Price felt a little worse. Now they both feel okay, so 2-1 split seems to be the way to go. Then something not seeing all that much anymore. Forbidden Alchemy. I like it over more Charms or another Revelation, because you can cast it a lot earlier, it digs a lot deeper, can put Lingering Souls in your graveyard, and if you really need a Wrath to get out of a tight spot, it digs a lot more. There's a lot of early game situations where Revelation is just not going to get you there in time, so I think 2 of them is worth having. And now we can take a look at the sideboard. Alright, this is the sideboard we have going. First, the big thing is Rest in Peace. Reanimator deck's very popular, very strong, and it's one of the strongest hate cards printed ever. Exile, instant exile when they send anything there. Just very, very strong. They have a lot of ways to play around it, which is why I go to the full 3. I would like to see all 3 of them in any Reanimator matchup, just to keep boarding or keep removing whatever they try to get out of the game. For a bit of extra mill help, we have 1 Jace. It's very strong. It can instantly speed up their clock from a couple, 5, 6 turns of drown yards to dead in 1 or 2. 10 cards at a time is definitely nothing to sneeze at. Dispel, get your Sphinx's Revelations, other counter spells, helps you force a lot of your own stuff through. Curse of Death's Hold, I like for a couple reasons. Any deck stalling, like Lingering Souls and Snapcasters, if there's both of those instantly can't hit the field. Any decks with Assemble the Legion, that it can tick up all at once. It won't make any strong guys. Maybe a random token deck. And generally, if you're playing a lot of the same guys, like you're each going to fight with Snapcasters and Augurs, it doesn't hurt to have yours be a little better. Feeling of Dread and Devour Flesh. Feeling of Dread is something, or a card I've liked since Innistrad came out. Its ability is very strong. It helps really hyper-aggressive matchups. Flashback, it can ruin, 2 straight combat steps, definitely help get you to your Wrath. Devour Flesh, another cheap removal spell. You can't pick the target, but for 2 mana, they obviously don't have much on the field if you're playing it early. And their life total is almost always irrelevant. Detention Sphere is another good catch-all. We have one in the main, with the extra one in here. It's your Planeswalkers. Get a Pithing Needle, naming your Drown Yards. Any random thing you didn't want to deal with. Then the two big experimental cards in the sideboard are High Priest of Penance and Mind Grind. Mind Grind is an all-star in control matchups. It's one of my favorite cards in a long time. I like the idea of just X 2 mana milling you out for a ton. Even if you only get it for like 4 or 5, there's a lot of variance to it, but just playing the odds, you can always hit a good chunk of cards, and anything just really helps your Drown Yard out. And the High Priest is good in all the decks relying on red for removal. If you look at mono red aggro, red green, Naya Blitz, all their removal is like Pillar, Searing Spear, straight up damage. They have no way to remove this without getting a very poor trade. So I pick off, you chump block something, throw it at a Reckoner, throw it at a Planeswalker if you need to. Some decks just have no way to not get the worst end of it, and I thought it was definitely worth experimenting with. There's obviously things like Tragic Slip, just make it look terrible, so you wouldn't play in those matchups. But anything with almost entire red removal, it's well worth giving it a shot. I've hit a number of targets with it, from Pithing Needle, really big champion of the parish, killed an Olivia Valdarin with it once. So that's it. That's my sideboard. This has been the Esper deck. You've probably seen or read a number of articles about it already, and I'm going to continue to tweak it. And I hope you enjoy. It's Ryan from TheEndStep.com, and thanks for watching.